The true rules of Yu-Gi-Oh! Action Duels. A few days ago, actually it was yesterday, right? Yeah, it was yesterday. We watched a video about a duel and we were like, wait, what is happening here? I was like, what is happening? What are action duels? So then I was shared this to actually understand what was happening before going into more RB or R5 duels. So let's see.
Action Duels. This spin-off style of dueling took place during the Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 series.
I still love the
Action duels were
performance
achieved
pulse.
thanks to the creation of the solid vision technology,
Science.
which gave real mass to duel monster
Force.
holograms. Something that would ultimately come back to bite them, as when a psychopath named Zark became a duelist, he would use his very real monsters to do some very real damage to the world. However, ignoring all of that, action duels are pretty cool. They were originally created as a way for duelists to interact.
That was Smile World, and that's
on a
Aster Phoenix.
a much more kinetic and action-orientated style of dueling.
That's
Say
so interesting,
goodbye
dude.
to two duelists standing in place and dueling.
They were
Now you need to know parkour. But then the question then
they left standing to like I think like wait, were the motorcycles duels, what are they called? I don't remember the name, but you know, card games on motorcycles, were they like a thing during the whole 5Ds? And then we didn't have anything like that in Sexal or Seal, right? Would you want to parkour while dueling? I can't. My knees will break. I can't do that. I'm old, chat. I hope you understand. Like I would probably prefer dueling on motorcycles. They had more standing duels than turbo duels in 5Ds. Okay, so it was just like a little gimmick that they use sometimes. Yeah. Seal doesn't have anything like that. Okay, so we went back to that. Interesting.
becomes, what are the rules to Yu-Gi-Oh! Action Duels? Well, let's go through them, shall we?
Uh-huh. I'm so curious about how the rules are established for this.
Action duels can only be played on solid vision fields. This is because a huge machine is required to generate the solid vision. However,
solid
later in the
vision
series, they would be able to boil this down into a really tiny device. They'd be able to put it inside their duel discs and basically have solid vision on the go.
Oh,
Note
my
as well,
God.
there are two settings to solid vision: adult and child. The
What?
difference between the two is simply the child variant creates a much safer and softer playing area, reducing the risk of injury.
Oh my god, dude. That
Also,
still seems
while not a
dangerous. I don't know.
necessity, It is good form to recite the action duel anthem before a duel. It goes a little something like this.
The
Duelists
real and
locked
solid
in battle,
holograms.
kicking the earth and dancing in the air alongside their monsters. They storm through this field. Behold, this is the newest and greatest evolution of dueling, Action Duel. And of course,
Oh.
if you are specifically the main character of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 series, you will also say, ladies and gentlemen. To initiate
I want
an
to do that,
action duel,
chat. I kinda want to do that. I kinda want to be like, ladies and gentlemen. That would be so cool. I will be so awesome in this universe. Totally.
an action field spell must be played prior to the duel. Action
Oh.
fields come in a variety of different types. They have no effects in-game. However, the aesthetic of the artwork is what generates the field, and that will determine what the field looks
Interesting.
like, the type of platforms that will appear during the duel. Basically, everything is tied to what the artwork of the field spell looks like. When an action duel begins, a variety of action cards are dispersed.
Oh,
across the
they're.
field.
Oh, you already know where
These
they
cards can be
are,
picked up
kinda. I
at
guess.
any time during
It's
the
not like
duel.
they spawn out of
Each
nowhere.
duelist is allowed to maneuver away from the starting spots that they started the duel in. However, you might
That's
now
so
be
weird,
asking,
dude.
what is an action card? Well, action cards come in two different types.
I feel like that kind of like messes up the balance and makes for a lot of Deus Ex Machina thing. Ladies and gentlemen, throws a burger with the audience. Yeah, I would love to do that. Yeah, just have your burgers. It's just to make a cool setting for the duels since it's for entertainment. So yeah, that's what I'm getting, right. This like has more focus on the entertainment aspect, right? Like a performance in like a spectacle, basically. Like what happens with sports in general, and I guess like dueling, like what's it called? Duel monsters and card games are like the main sport in the Yu-Gi-Oh universe. Yeah. Oh yeah, it does. There is even a joke about how Yuya's ace is action cards and not all eyes. I can't imagine the situations that must like happen because of the action cards.
Spell and trap.
It's to do.
When an action card that is a spell is found, it is placed in the hand and can be either used right away as if it was a quick play spell,
Wow.
or held onto for later. Action spells typically bestow the finder with beneficial effects. Things like avoiding a monster attack, reducing damage, or boosting the stats of your own monster.
So very basic things. I hope.
However, when an action card that is a trap is found, it
trap.
forcefully activates straight away.
Oh.
Action traps are the inverse of action spells.
Oh.
They have detrimental effects to the finder. And
I love that. You can actually like get a negative effect on you, basically. It's kind of like, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Smash. Playing Smash with items, Smash Bros. With items, and you think you get like a mushroom that makes you big, but you accidentally got the mushroom that makes you small. Something like that, right? I don't know if it's a silly comparison, but that's what I'm most familiar with. Yeah. Actions are to entertain the audience like a circus, and dueling is secondary. Yuya focuses on being a goof than dueling. All the previous Yu-Gi-Oh protagonists will absolutely not div Yuya. Interesting. It's more about like the silliness of it rather than winning. Even like Jaden cared more about having fun, but for him the fun was compete, right? Giving your all. This is very different than that. Oh yeah, the dual disc in Arc 5 are lighter than any other dual disc in the series prior. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I never thought about the weight of those things, but I guess it makes sense that they are kind of heavy because they are like hologram projectors. That's a good comparison. Well, I'm glad. It really evolved from duels from survival into duels for a spectacle. Yeah, it makes perfect sense, right? What is it? How was the thing? Like, hard times make soft times make soft men, and soft men make hard times. Hard times make hard men, and hard men make me hard. It's something like that. I don't remember. But yeah, it's kind of like that. Action duels, I used to like them, but as the series progressed, I started to dislike mainly because Yuya kept getting almost the same action spells nearly every duel. That's sad. That kind of like recycle the same effects. But it makes sense that you can kind of know what you can get while playing. But at the same time, if they are always the same, it makes it like more predictable, I guess. I assume that monsters also become real at some point here, yeah. The action spell miracle ends the battle. Wait. The action spell miracle ends the battle phase, and you can't take no further damage for the whole turn. The activation of this card can't be negated unless by another action spell. Interesting. Easy times make weak men. Weak men make men hard, and hard men make easy times. Something like that, yeah. Okay, I think that makes more sense. Also they use action traps, but I think they only appear in one duel and never again, and it sucks. Could have added some negative effects in the action duels. Wait, action traps only appear in one duel? Bruh. More like solid constructs than living creatures. Yeah, they are not like magical stuff, I think. The machines give those monsters soul. They can feel emotions. Interesting. I don't know. Okay, well, let's keep watching.
And act as a deterrent from overusing action cards. Action traps do things like reducing your own monster's attacks,
well, there is more,
causing damage to yourself. It's up to the duelists to take note of where all of these action cards
that character looks so annoying. I already know
but
it.
Note that the scattering of the action cards is not random. They land in predetermined spaces that will always go to the same spots of that field spell. If you get used to the Gear Town field, you will know where the beneficial spells are and the negative traps are on the field. It's advantageous
Interesting.
for you to get a home field advantage by having a favorite field. To discourage duelists from
Interesting.
simply hoarding action cards, a player may only hold one action card at a time. Action cards can be used to pay costs if required. You find an action spell during
There's
your
very
turn,
in-depth,
your opponent's
like,
turn. You don't want to use it straight away.
rules
so
for
it's
this.
in your hand.
Interesting.
Your next turn comes along, you have a card that you can discard a card with to use its effect. Or you can discard the action card if you want to. You can use as many action spell and traps as you want during any phase of a duel. For instance, in the first duel of the Arc 5 series, the Sledgehammer attacked Yuya. Yuya grabbed an action spell to dodge the attack. He then
What's he
attacked
wearing, dude?
again, and Yuya simply picked up another action card and used that one to mitigate the damage. Or even more busted, when Yuya used Wonder Balloons, he picked up and discarded action spells one after another to get the most out of its effect. There can be multiple of the same action spells and traps on the field at once.
Okay, that's kind of what I
Monsters
expected.
summoned in action duels are tangible, and as
I can't. I swear, this really like, reminds me a lot of like playing, like playing with items in Smash. It looks so funny. Fun fact: Yuji is the only protagonist who has an ace monster that harms the opponent rather than protecting others. Their magician, elemental hero Neos, Stardust Dragon, and Utopia all are protectors. Huh, interesting. I never thought about that. Yeah, I'm not kidding on action traps. It is pretty much action spells for like 99% of the duels. He's actually one of the best characters and worst win-lose ratios. Really? I thought the one with worse win rate was Yuma, right? Evasion is one of the more overused action spells along with Miracle. What was Miracle? Oh, the one that ends the battle phase. Right. Actually, the fun fact about machines giving soul to the monsters is sorta wrong. The duel brings a more physical form of Yu-Gi-Oh card spirits. Yeah, exactly. It's not like soul. I don't think so. What do you mean? Jaden's first ace monster was Wingman, and the very respectfully burns your face after beating your monster. Oh, Flame Wingman. Yeah, I guess you're right, Kildash. If I was a first ace monster, but then it become Neos, the one that is the most emblematic, I guess. I don't know. Would you think of Jaden, you think of Neos? Or do you think of Flame Wingman? I think of Neos, honestly. Flame Wingman just wasn't during the first season. Neos is the most iconic one, I will say. Yuma wins more duels than Yuya. This supposedly losses Yuma has off screen against NPCs when dueling against a named character Yuma never loses. Okay. The main villain says the machine gives the monster souls. Well, I don't know. Don't ask me. Miracle, if a monster in the field battles targeted monster, it cannot be destroyed by battle effects. Also, any battle damage is half. Oh, okay. Yuma's win and loss rate are weird since you can either count the off-screen losses or not. Okay. I get it. I get it. I think of Neos, but the fact that Flame Woman was the first and it does burn. Well, I guess that's true, Kildash. Let's keep watching.
as such can be interacted. Monsters summoned in action duels are tangible, and as such can be interacted with. We covered this earlier, but this means that you can ride on top of your monsters, you can use your monsters to attack your opponent if you want, or even to sort of maneuver the environment to your
maneuver the environment. Interesting.
Things like that, basically. And the reason that maneuvering with your monsters is important is because a duelist / monster can dodge attacks to delay the attack connecting. Similar to how turbo duels work, if you can avoid an attack for long enough, you can buy yourself precious extra seconds to find an action card to possibly get an advantage. Or it'll just give you more time to think of a response. And honestly, with this, being able to move around the field and move with your monsters, this is the biggest draw of an action duel. This now means being physically fit is really important to do.
Oh no, I cannot do this anymore.
So get down to that gym.
Can old people not duel anymore?
Despite an action field spell being on the field, new field spells can be activated. When this occurs, the terrain is overwritten to match the new field spell, and whatever effects that field spell has are now in play.
Question. Does Aster also plays Destiny Heroes here, or does he play something else? Preparate to summon and flyer on Siren Dragon. Dude, you know what it will happen to me? Like, I will be like, not like Sane, I will be like Crowler. When the whole, like the golem falls into pieces in the first episode. Something like that will happen to me, honestly, and I will die. Playing is Jason's favorite card of all time, but it's not his ace. Yugi's favorite card is Kuribo, but it's not his ace. Playing Women doesn't have 7 stars, 250 attack and 2k defense. He plays new Destiny Heroes. He does play Destiny Heroes in R5, but not the same ones as in GX. Oh, so it's the same archetype, different cards. Interesting. Interesting. I like that.
Saying that as well, the action duel rules are still in place. Duelists have a maximum of 3 minutes per turn. Failing to finish their turn in this time results in a loss. Why do we have a timer incorporated into a duel? Well, it's simple. We don't want people continuously looking for action spells. Find an action spell, use it, let's go find another.
The timer is actually really cool.
It takes a bit of time to get to each platform to get your action spells. So if you're locked at only 3 minutes, you've got to quickly do your plays. Maybe search for an action card while you're doing your plays as well. You've got to be quick about this. So it makes it much more fair.
Oh, I don't know about this.
If the malfunctions during a duel, then the match automatically ends with no winner.
What?
Physically attacking opponents, while frowned upon, doesn't seem to be illegal. Also, using effects to restrict your opponent's movement is also allowed. Bit of a crazy one, but we see a lot of examples of duelists in proper tournaments and just outside of tournaments attacking each other or using card effects to restrict players from grabbing action cards and stuff. For the most part, it seems to be legal, or at the very least, it's not being enforced to stop anyway. So yeah, I guess if you really
so it's not
do
exactly
that,
clear,
but don't go
guess.
too far or you'll turn into Zark and you'll just start like murdering people in the middle of a duel. And with that said, the most important final rule I have to mention. My lawyers have asked me to include this when you duel on an action field. Warning, in consideration of participating in the action duel event I intend to duel, I hereby declare that I accept the following terms and conditions. I understand that the event requires high physical activity and that the person intends to participate in the activity requires to be in good health and in proper physical condition. I understand the risks involved, known and unknown, foreseeable or not foreseeable, in participation in this event or activity, which includes injury, disability, being sucked into a training whether caused by actions or inactions, by gross negligence or accident. I understand that I have the right to withdraw any time during the event or any activity on which I am a participant in, should I believe to think that the conditions in the event endanger my safety. I fully accept and assume the risks involved and take accountability for any damages, losses, and or expenses that might be incurred during and as a result of my involvement in the activities of the event. I hereby waive, release, discharge, and covenant not to sue, indemnify, and hold harmless the Leo Corporation.
Oh my god.
Agents, volunteers, operators, its officers, and
Leo
employees, sponsors,
Corporation.
of the event in any incident resulting to loss, liability, damage, or damages, claims, causes of action, whether in whole or in part, the negligence by which may be incurred. I assume the inherent and other risks that may result to harm, injury, illness, loss, or death during my participation in any activities of the event. I hereby agree freely, unconditionally, and without inducement or consideration of any nature as an affirmation and consent to the contents of this form by which I will be legally bound. And with that, I hope you all enjoy swinging into action. If you plan on playing this at home, good luck. But other than that,
yeah, we're not doing this at home.
Catch you later.
Dude, was Jaden about to defeat Yugi? We have to watch that at some point. We have to watch that at some point. Thank you so much, TS Anime. Amazing video as always. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. These videos are great. These videos are amazing. Reading, oh my god, Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan Wars Nightmare. This basically, you can't sue me. Yeah, it's basically like, I might die, and I agree. I agree. Yeah, that's the video. Interesting, right? Really cool video. 3 minutes, I can finish my combo in time. Is 3 minutes enough to finish your combo? Your full pendulum combo? Nah, I don't think so, right? Yeah, okay, well, thank you so much for suggesting this video. I understand better now that there are actual rules about this. I was like super confused of what was happening. It kind of seemed like super random during one of the duels, but now that it's been established that there are rules. I mean, I probably should have watched the first episode. Maybe they explained most of it only in the first episode, but still, I get it now, and I'm not exactly on board with it. I don't know. I have to see how the duels play out in order to see if like this is an actual cool thing or just a gimmick. But yeah, I think my first impressions are that it seems interesting. It seems interesting, but yeah, thank you for the video. Oh, are there duels that are not action duels during this? Or is everything action duely? Do they just play like normal? Do they play standing or like sitting in a table? Do they ever do that? Or it's always have to be action duels? It's a mix of regular and action duels. Oh my god, there is actual regular duels. Thank god.